You want to know what real power looks like? Huh. It ain't screaming, it ain't breaking things, it ain't throwing punches like some lost, angry little child. Nah, that's weakness disguised as strength. Real power? It's looking at the people who stabbed you, lied to you, threw you away like garbage, and walking past them as if they never existed. No words, no revenge, no closure. Just silence. That's the kind of payback that burns the deepest. Because you know what people can't handle? Being forgotten. They expect a reaction. They need it. The guilt inside them, the little whispers at night, they scream for your pain. They beg for proof that they still matter. But when you don't give them that, when you don't flinch, don't break, don't even look their way, that's when they rot from the inside out. That's when their world collapses. See, most people, they live for the attention. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. As long as you react, as long as you show them they still exist in your world, they win. But when you erase them, when they become nothing, that's when you win. That's when you take everything away without lifting a single finger. I know what you're thinking. But Joker, how can I just forget? How can I move on when they left me broken? Ha! Let me tell you something, kid. You were never broken. No. No. They were. They were the ones desperate to destroy something purer, stronger, something they could never be. See, people don't betray you because you're weak. They do it because they're afraid of your strength. They see what you have inside you, and it makes their skin crawl. So, what do? They take, they break, they twist your kindness into a weapon against you, and then they leave, expecting to watch you fall apart. You stand up. You fix yourself up in silence. You let them watch. Let them wait. Let them hold their breath, hoping, praying for you to crack. But you don't. You become everything they feared. You succeed. You thrive. You become untouchable. And then, you don't even bother looking back. That's what kills them. Not the screaming, not the fights, not the revenge. No. It's the silence, the indifference, the way you act like they never even happened. People will hurt you. That's just a fact. Family, friends, lovers, doesn't matter. You let someone close enough, they'll find a way to put a knife in your back. It's human nature. And you're sitting here, thinking you can change that? Thinking they were different? No, kid. They weren't different. They were just better at lying. And you were too good at hoping. But hope? Hope is just a fancy word for delusion. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't trust anyone. I'm saying understand them. Expect betrayal, not loyalty. Expect lies, not honesty. That way, when the knife comes, you're not surprised. You're not broken. You're just prepared. And when they leave, you let them. You don't beg, you don't plead, you hold the door open. Because anyone who can walk away from you like that, they were never meant to stay. You want to know how you really win? You let go. Not for them. Not for some moral nonsense about forgiveness. No. You let go for you. Because holding on to their poison, that's what keeps you trapped. That's what keeps you weak. But the second you let it all die, the anger, the pain, the need for answers, you become something else, something unstoppable. You think the strongest people are the ones who fight? No. The strongest people are the ones who walk away, who refuse to be chained by their past, by their pain. They don't waste energy proving a point. They don't seek revenge. They just rise. And, oh, that destroys the ones who tried to break them. Because let me tell you a little secret, kid. The people who hurt you, they don't want you to heal. They don't want you to grow. They don't want you to succeed. They want you stuck in your pain, stuck in your memories, stuck waiting for closure that'll never come. Because as long as you're stuck, they still control you. But the second you break free, the second you stop caring, that's when they lose. Life ain't fair, but fairness was never the game. You either learn the rules or you get played. And the first rule, never give people more power over you than they deserve. If they leave, let them go. If they betray you, let them rot. If they come back, act like they're ghosts. No anger, no love, just nothing. Because nothing is the heaviest thing you can leave someone with. So you want to know the best payback? Moving on. Not with a speech, not with a fight, not with some dramatic farewell. No. You move on without a word. And that silence will haunt them more than anything you could ever say. People like to think they matter, that their actions leave a mark, that they have some kind of control over you. That's why they play games, why they manipulate, why they lie through their teeth while looking you dead in the eyes. It's not because they're strong, it's because they're afraid. Afraid that deep down, they don't matter at all. And you prove them right. The moment you move on, the moment you stop replaying the conversations in your head, stop asking yourself what you did wrong, stop searching for an answer that was never there to begin with. The truth is simple. You were real. They weren't. And that's all the closure you'll ever need. See, weak people, they don't build, they destroy. They don't create, they take. And when they realize they can't control you, when they see you slipping through their fingers, they panic. They try to make you doubt yourself. They make you feel small, like you're the problem, like you're the reason everything fell apart. They rewrite history, twist reality, make you question every little thing until you don't know what's real anymore. And the worst part, you let them. You let them because you cared. You let them because you thought they cared too. But they didn't. They never did. Because real ones, they don't break what they love. They don't run when things get hard. They don't look at you like an option while you treated them like a priority. But you want to know the real kicker, the real twist in this little tragedy of yours? The moment you stop caring, the moment you stop chasing, stop needing, stop giving them a single inch of your energy, that's the moment they come crawling back. Because suddenly they realize they didn't break you. They realize you don't need them. And oh, that drives them insane. Because now they're the ones who feel small. They're the ones staring at their phone, hoping for a message that never comes. They're the ones trapped in their own mind, replaying everything they did, wondering if they could have done it differently. And you're free. But here's the part where most people mess up. They see them come back, they hear the apologies, the excuses, the sweet little words laced with poison, and they let them in. They think, maybe this time will be different. Different? People don't change, kid. Not like that. They just get better at lying. So what do? You do nothing. You don't answer, don't explain, don't react. You let them live with the weight of their own actions. You let them sit in the emptiness they created. Because let me tell you something, kid. When you walk away from a fire, you don't go back to see if it's still burning. You let it turn to ashes, and you build something better. You ever notice how people only appreciate things once they're gone? How they only realize the worth of something once it's out of their reach? It's pathetic, really. They take and take and take, thinking you'll always be there, thinking they can hurt you, leave, come back, and you'll just welcome them with open arms. But not this time. Not you. Because this time, you understand the game. This time, you don't play by their rules. You don't entertain their guilt, don't validate their apologies, don't fall for their carefully crafted words. This time, you walk away like they never existed. And trust me, nothing hurts more than being treated like a ghost by the very person who once gave you everything. They'll say you're cold, that you don't care, that you're heartless. Let them tell whatever story helps them sleep at night. But deep down, they know the truth. They know you were the real one. They know you were the one who stayed, the one who gave, the one who meant every single word. And they were the ones who threw it all away. That's their burden to carry now, not yours. So don't pick it up. Don't carry weight that isn't yours. Don't let their guilt become your responsibility. And I know, the hardest part isn't leaving. The hardest part is staying gone. It's the quiet moments, the nights when the memories creep in, when your mind plays tricks on you, when you start to wonder if maybe, just maybe, they did care. That's when you remind yourself of the truth. The truth that if they truly cared, you wouldn't be sitting here alone, trying to piece yourself back together. The truth that real love, real loyalty, real respect It doesn't require suffering. It doesn't require losing yourself just to keep someone else. And if you had to beg, if you had to fight, if you had to prove your worth over and over and over again, then it was never real to begin with. So you keep walking. You let the past burn. You let the dead stay buried. And you don't look back, not once. Because the best payback, the kind that cuts the deepest, the kind that leaves them awake at night, staring at the ceiling, drowning in regret, it's moving on. Not with a speech, not with a final goodbye, not with one last conversation. No, you move on without a word. And that silence is louder than any scream, heavier than any punch, more devastating than any revenge. Because it tells them, without saying a single thing, that they never mattered as much as they thought they did. And that is what truly destroys them. And here's the part that really messes with them. The silence doesn't just hurt for a moment. No. It lingers. It echoes. It grows louder with every passing day. Because at first, they might not even notice. They might shrug it off, laugh, convince themselves they were right to leave, that you were nothing special. They'll tell their little stories, paint you as the villain, rewrite the past to fit the version where they don't have to be the bad guy. But time? Oh. Time is a cruel little thing. Because as the days turn into weeks, as the months pass, as their world stays exactly the same while yours keeps moving forward, that's when the cracks start to show. That's when the silence turns into a scream inside their head. That's when they start checking up on you, lurking in the shadows, watching from a distance, hoping, praying to see that you still care. But when they see you thriving, when they realize you've erased them so completely that they might as well have never existed, that's when the regret sets in. See, most people think regret is immediate, that it hits like a bullet, sharp and quick. But no, regret is slow. It creeps in like a sickness, like a parasite that burrows into the mind and festers. It starts small, a thought, a memory, a whisper of something they lost but didn't appreciate. And then it spreads. Suddenly songs remind them of you. Places feel empty. They hear a laugh that sounds like yours, see a face in the crowd that looks familiar, and for a split second, they think it's you. But it's not, because you're gone. Not just physically, but completely. And that's the kind of pain they can't escape, because it's not something they can fix. It's not something they can apologize away. It's permanent. And the real irony, the real poetic justice, the same people who told you to move on, to forget, to stop being so sensitive, oh, they don't take their own advice very well, do they? Because when it's them who's been left behind, when it's them who's been forgotten, suddenly it's not so easy. Suddenly they're the ones drowning in what ifs, in could have beens, in memories they can't erase. They're the ones staring at their phone, typing and deleting messages, wondering if they should reach out, wondering if you'd even bother to answer. And that's the beauty of it all, because you won't. You won't answer. You won't explain. You won't even acknowledge them, because they don't deserve that. See, closure is a lie. A pretty little fairy tale people tell themselves to make sense of the mess they left behind. They think if they just talk one more time, if they just say the right words, if they just get one last moment with you, they can rewrite history. But history doesn't change. The past is carved in stone, and no amount of apologies or explanations or late-night confessions can undo what's already been done. And that's what breaks them. Because when they finally realize that there's nothing left to say, that they don't get another chance, that you've moved on without them, oh, that's when they truly feel the weight of what they lost. And by then, it's too late, because you won't be the same person they left behind. The one who waited, who begged, who held on to hope like it was some kind of lifeline. No, no, no. That version of you is dead, buried beneath the ashes of everything they destroyed. And the new you, the one who rose from the wreckage, they don't even recognize you anymore, because this version of you, it doesn't care. It doesn't wait. It doesn't need them. And nothing haunts a person more than realizing they lost someone who never looked back. And you might think, but Joker, don't people deserve second chances? Ha, second chances. For what? For proving to you that they'll do the exact same thing all over again? Because that's the truth, kid. People don't change. They repeat. They follow the same patterns, tell the same lies, make the same promises, only to break them all over again. You give them another chance, and all you're doing is handing them the knife they'll use to stab you next time. No, no, no. You don't give them another chance. You give yourself another chance. A chance to be better. A chance to grow. A chance to become so untouchable, so unreachable, that by the time they realize what they lost, you're so far ahead that they can't even see you anymore. And trust me, that's what destroys them. Not the anger, not the revenge, not the fights. Just the realization that they were replaceable, that they were forgettable, that the world didn't stop spinning just because they walked away. So let them wonder. Let them suffer in the silence. Let them sit with their choices and choke on the consequences. Because the best payback, the most brutal, soul-crushing, devastating thing you can ever do to someone who thought they could break you, it's not hate, it's not revenge, it's not even indifference, it's success, it's peace, it's moving on without a word. And that's a lesson they'll never forget. And the cruelest part, the part that eats them alive, that festers in the back of their mind no matter how much they try to ignore it. It's not just that you moved on. It's how you did it. You didn't scream. You didn't lash out. You didn't write some pathetic speech about how much they hurt you. No, no, no. You just disappeared. Like they never even existed. Like they were nothing more than a name you forgot. A shadow that never mattered. And that's what shatters them. Because when someone screams at you, when someone fights, when someone begs, it means they still care. It means you still have power over them. But when someone walks away without a sound, when they erase you so completely that it's like you were never there, that's when you realize you never had any power at all. See, people like control. They like to think they can pull the strings, push the right buttons, make you react whenever they want. That's why they play their little games. That's why they leave and come back. Why they throw you away and then act like they regret it. But the second you stop reacting, the second you refuse to play their game, oh, that's when they panic. That's when they realize they lost something they can't get back. Because the truth is, they didn't expect you to leave. They didn't expect you to be strong enough to stay gone. They thought you'd wait, that you'd break, that you'd hold on to the hope that maybe, just maybe, they'd come back. And when they see that you don't, that you never even looked for them, that's when it hits them. That's when they realize they were the ones who lost, not you. And they'll try to crawl back. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. Because they'll see you. Maybe they'll hear about how you're doing. Maybe they'll see a picture. Maybe they'll just wake up one night with an ache they can't explain. And suddenly, they'll remember everything. They'll remember the way you made them feel, the way you never gave up on them, the way you cared when no one else did. And in that moment, they'll want it back. They'll want you back. But the worst part, the part that will burn them from the inside out, they won't know how, because the bridge is gone, the door is locked, and for the first time, they're the ones left in the dark. And you won't even notice, because by then, you'll be so far ahead that their name won't even register. You won't feel anger. You won't feel sadness. You won't feel anything. And that is what will kill them. Because they can handle being hated. They can handle being cursed, yelled at, blamed, but being nothing to you, that's the one thing they'll never be able to take. Because nothing is worse than realizing you were completely, utterly, permanently erased from someone's life. And that's why silence is the best revenge. Not because it punishes them in the way they expect. Not because it makes them feel what they made you feel. No, it's because it leaves them with nothing. No closure, no second chances, no way to fix what they broke. It forces them to sit in the mess they created and understand, really understand, that they did this to themselves, that they threw away something real, that they lost something they'll never find again. And by the time they figure that out, by the time they finally realize what they had, you'll be long gone. And the best part, you won't even care. And that's the real tragedy, isn't it? Not the heartbreak, not the betrayal, not the pain they left you with. No, those were just temporary. They were wounds, deep ones, sure, but wounds heal, scars fade, and you rise, you grow, you move forward. The real tragedy is theirs. The real suffering is on their side. Because you were always going to heal, always going to find your way back, always going to become something stronger than before. But them, they don't heal from this. They don't move on. They don't get stronger. No. They rot slowly, silently. They live their lives pretending they're fine, pretending they made the right choice, pretending they don't think about you. But deep down, they know. They know they lost something that can't be replaced. And oh, how it eats at them. At first they try to ignore it. They fill their time with distractions, with other people, with anything that keeps them from thinking about you. But silence is relentless. It creeps in at night when they're alone, when the noise dies down, when the world isn't there to keep them company. And that's when it hits them. That's when the regret sinks its claws in, because they start to wonder, where are you now? Are you thinking about them? Do you miss them? And the worst thought, the one that twists in their gut like a knife, they realize you probably don't, because you learned what they never could. You learned that you don't need closure to move on. You don't need apologies. You don't need explanations. You don't even need to understand why they did what they did, because none of that changes anything. None of that erases what happened. And none of that would make a damn bit of difference. The only thing that matters is what you do now. And you chose to move forward. You chose to take every ounce of pain they left you with and turn it into something they could never take away. Power, strength, growth. And the more you grow, the smaller they become. The more you succeed, the more they fade into the background. They become a story you don't tell, a name you don't say, a lesson you learned but never had to repeat. And one day, without even realizing it, you wake up and you don't feel anything at all. No anger, no resentment, no sadness, just indifference, just nothing. And that is the moment they lose you forever. Because hate still means you care. Anger still means you're holding on. But indifference is the final nail in the coffin. It's the moment they become a ghost in their own story. The moment they realize you've moved on in a way they never could. And that's the kind of pain that doesn't fade. That's the kind of regret that doesn't go away. Because while you were healing, while you were growing, While you were becoming something more, they stayed the same, stuck, trapped in the same cycle, repeating the same mistakes, searching for something they'll never find again. Because here's the truth, kid. There's only one version of you. There's only one person who gave them what you did, who loved them the way you did, who saw them, really saw them, and still chose to stay. And they threw that away. They took it for granted. They let it slip through their fingers like it was nothing. And now they have to live with that. And they will. Oh, they will. Every time they hear a song that reminds them of you, every time they see someone who looks like you from behind, every time they wake up in the middle of the night with that ache in their chest that they can't explain, that's when they'll remember. That's when they'll realize. That's when the weight of what they lost will settle in their bones like a cold that never goes away. And no matter how much they try to outrun it, no matter how much they try to replace you, no matter how many times they tell themselves it was for the best, deep down, they'll always know the truth. They lost you. Not because you weren't enough, not because you weren't worth it, but because they weren't. And by the time they understand that, by the time they finally realize what they had, you'll be so far ahead that they won't even be a thought in your mind. And that is the best payback of all. And the beauty of it all, you never even had to do anything. No revenge, no confrontation, no dramatic closure, nothing. Just silence, just walking away and letting time do what time does best, unravel people from the inside out. Because that's the thing about people who take others for granted. They don't notice what they have when they have it. They don't appreciate the warmth when it's right there. They get used to it. They assume it'll always be there, always waiting, always available. They take and take and take, never thinking for a second that maybe, just maybe, one day it won't be there anymore. And when that day comes, when they wake up and realize that the person they once ignored, neglected, pushed away is gone, oh, it's a slow kind of suffering. At first, it's just an itch in the back of their mind, a small discomfort they push away. But then it grows. It turns into questions, into doubt, into sleepless nights spent wondering where it all went wrong. And the worst part, the part that will haunt them the most, there's no way to fix it, no way to go back, no way to undo what's already been done. Because you see, people always think they have time. They always think they have another chance, another day, another opportunity to make things right. That's why they treat you the way they do, why they assume they can come and go as they please. They think you'll always be there until you're not, until the silence becomes permanent, until they realize that the door they walked out of doesn't open anymore. And that's when the regret sets in. Not the fake kind, not the shallow apologies they throw around to clear their conscience. No, this kind of regret is different. It's deep. It's real. It's the kind that lingers, the kind that keeps them up at night, the kind that makes them look back at their own reflection and wonder, what the hell did I do? And they'll never say it out loud. They'll never admit it. They'll pretend they're fine. Pretend they moved on. Pretend they never think about you. But every now and then, when the world gets quiet, when there's no one around to distract them, they'll hear your absence louder than any words ever spoken. Because silence is heavy. It's suffocating. And when you leave without a word, when you erase them completely, when you move on like they never existed, that silence wraps around them like chains they can't break. And no matter how much they try to convince themselves that they were right, that they did nothing wrong, that it was all just life taking its course, deep down they know. They know they messed up. And that's what separates you from them. You learned. You grew. You didn't stay stuck in the past, didn't keep looking back, didn't waste your time on people who didn't value you. You moved forward. You found peace in the fact that you never needed them in the first place. Because that's the truth, isn't it? You thought they were essential, thought they were irreplaceable, thought life wouldn't be the same without them. But now you see it clearly. Life didn't just go on, it got better. And that's the difference between people like you and people like them. When you leave someone's life, you don't leave a void. You leave a lesson they'll never forget, a lesson that will follow them for the rest of their days, whispering in the back of their mind every time they meet someone new, every time they try to rebuild what they destroyed. And they'll never find another you. They'll try. Oh, they'll try, but they'll fail because there's only one you, and they lost you. So don't look back. Don't wonder if they miss you. Don't wonder if they regret it. Don't wonder if they think about you late at night when no one else is around. Because the answer is yes, they do. They will. Always. But it doesn't matter because you've already moved on. And that is the best revenge of all.